last minute person coming in. She called me and she saw our flyer out on Broadway. Her name's Lauren. She is a, help me out with this, Lauren, because I don't have my notes, ecotherapist, and she does psychedelic integration. So if you want any psychedelic integration, you know who to call. All right, so Lauren's gonna come up here. She's gonna spit her poem. She's also resides in Saratoga, so she's around. Give her a round of applause.
So I moved here to Saratoga to finish my first book of poetry and ecotherapy. It's inspired by trees and plant medicine visions. It's called Way of the Trees, and this is a little piece from that. First, I would also just love to say my daughter Aspen is here. She's 7. So thank you guys so much because I love her. I was in class and coloring the trees, and everyone else was making them brown and green the way that you see trees, and I was coloring the trees the way that I see them or felt them in purple and pink and blue. And my teacher came over and told me, no, that is not the color of trees. And I was like, what about in the fall? Right? So trees are this representation, and I love this quote from Ram Dass that I'll share here too before we start. When you go out into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees. Some of them are bent, and some of them are straight, and some of them are evergreens, and some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree and you allow it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light, and so it turned that way. Okay. And you don't get all emotional about it. You just allow it. You appreciate the tree. The minute you get near humans, you lose all of that. You are constantly saying you are to this, or I am to this. That judgment mind comes in, and so I practice turning people into trees. Story that's excerpted from my book, and it's about the reclamation of the wild self and the way our society is scared by that which it cannot understand.
Okay.
Can we all take a really deep breath in together? Maybe close your eyes and let the air out. When the eyes close, the heart opens. I ran into the woods, afraid at the way the branches covered the sun and came atop me like a canopy, but unable to turn back. I came here to be alone, all one. For the people of the plains didn't like to listen to my incessant chatter, particularly the song of unseen things and lost places and magic people that still had color and sound to those who listen. They said it was unbecoming of a girl of my stature, but I felt beyond my skin, and so, scared yet accepted, I found myself in the thick shade that I was forbidden to ever set foot. I stayed for a while, talking to the fun guy about the way the world warps if you let it, and asking rabbits for no response at the run-on sentences as I sang and skipped along the stream. I learned to be happy here. The fireflies taught me how to glow at dusk, and the owls reminded me to dance in the midnight air. I found sweetness under thickly woven bark and planted hopes and made mandalas of acorns and pine cones that surrounded the occasional wildflower that bloomed from seeds before. I washed myself in the river, and she whispered prayers as I fell asleep upon her shore. And the wise stone people initiated me in their rituals and taught me how to wayfind when Venus rose below the moon. I could hear the cries of the people from just outside these walls, waiting for my return at the edge of the wild, for they were unnerved by the way that the branches bent cages at the entryway to the unknown. The conversation wasn't through, though. So I decided to rest a little longer, for I learned that the trees bowed to listen to the little girl who whispered of made-up things in La La Land, and they thought it would be nice to go there too. If you love the trees, I discovered, they will love you back and share their stories with you. So taking me in, I turned my eyes to parted boughs of fir and aspen and pine the bark along my back bathed in the morning light, ushering me awake, and together we travel, listening to one another. The wild in me, and me in the wild. Thank you.